analysis of business and economics. So let's go ahead and take a look at the definitions first. So here I have the marginal cost and revenue, marginal cost, revenue, and profit. So here I have total cost, which is C of X, total revenue, which is R of X, total profit, which is by default the revenue minus the cost. Now let's go ahead and take one step further because this is calculus, and let's take a look at the marginal cost. If you notice, I have this little hyphen here. Let me use a different color, little hyphen here. That's telling me that marginal cost is nothing but the derivative. So the word marginal in economics means rate of change. As we've seen in previous cases, rate of change, slope, derivative, they are all represented by that little hyphen right there. So here the marginal cost is nothing but the rate of change of the cost with respect to X, where X is the number of units. So I'm trying to see how the cost is changing with respect to the units. Now marginal revenue is again R with that little hyphen on the top, is again rate of change of revenue with respect to the number of units. Marginal profit, it is derivative of this minus derivative of this with respect to the number of units. Now let's take one more step further. If X is the number of units of product produced in some time interval, then the average cost is Cx by X, and the marginal average cost, as soon as you hear the word marginal, you know it's going to be the derivative. Average revenue per unit is R of X by X. The moment I hear marginal, I know it's going to be the derivative. Average profit is P of X over X. It is per unit again. It's the marginal average profit. It's by default the derivative. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the problems. So here you always taught taking a look at what the equation is. That's the revenue function, and they ask me to find the marginal function. Well, I know when I hear the word marginal, I have to find the derivative, which is simply R hyphen X. So my function R of X is 3x minus 0.0, only one zero, right? 03x squared. So the derivative, I'm going to use a different color. R of X, derivative of 3x is 3 minus derivative of x squared is 2, comes all the way up in the front, 0.03 times x, which is 3 minus 0.06x. And now let's go ahead and see if our answer matches. And bingo, there it does. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. Let me move this further. Okay, now let's see what this is. Find the marginal average cost function if the cost and the revenue are C of X and R of X. So let's go back to, they're asking me to find, oh, I forgot. What did they ask me to find? Average cost, marginal average cost. So let me erase these here. Dun, 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 dun. So here is what I'm finding, marginal average cost, which is the derivative of the average cost. And how do I get the average cost? I simply divide the equation, no, the function with x, the function of the cost with x. So let's go here and let's start with the function. They're asking me to find the marginal average cost. So I'm going to go ahead and write down C of, let me expand this one. I just need one function here. C of x is equal to 163 plus 5.9x. So I start with my average cost. My average cost is C of x by x, which is 163 divided by x plus 5.9x divided by x. So 5.9x, x and x cancel each other. I'm left with 163x plus 5.9. That's the average cost. But they didn't ask me for average cost. They added that little term here which said marginal. The moment they say marginal, you have to find the derivative. So this is I have to find the derivative of this one. So this would be the average cost, and now I'm finding the derivative of average cost. This is a constant. Derivative of a constant is a 0, and I'm finding derivative of 163 over x. 163 over x. So I'm going to rewrite this as 163 x to the power negative 1, because 1 over x is x to the power negative 1, and the derivative of x to the power negative 1 is negative 1 times 163 x to the power negative 1 minus 1, which is negative 163 x to the negative 2, which is negative 163 over x squared. And now let's see if that matches. Dun, 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 dun. It does. So it's negative 163 over x squared. All right, now let's take a look at the next function here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next problem here. It says the total cost of producing X food processors, so C of X, that's the cost function, is 1,900 plus 90x minus 0.2x squared. Very good. Find the exact cost of producing the 51st food processor. So in the other words, they're telling me, hey, give me the cost of only one food processor. That's what they're asking me. And here they didn't say 51 food processors. They just said 51st food processor. So you're giving me the cost of that, exact cost of that 51st food processor. Again, this is derivatives. These are rate of change. So the easiest way to approach this is to find the exact cost of the 51st food processor. I'm answering option A here. All I have to do is I have to find the cost of the 51st. Sorry, I have to find let me rephrase. I have to find the cost of 51 food processors minus, I subtract the cost of 50 food processors. That would give me the cost of 51st food processor. So to do that, I will simply plug in my 51 and 50 in the function value. So 1900 plus, it was 90x minus 0.2x squared, right? So all I have to do is plug in 51 and 50. So let's go. I'm going to use two different colors here. So this is 1900 plus 90 times 51 minus 0.2 times 51 squared. Let me cross check if it is 0.2 or 0.02. Yeah, that's good. Minus, I'm going to go ahead and change the color, minus 1900 plus 90 times 50 minus 0.2 50 squared. So all I'm doing is subtracting the cost of 50 food processors from the cost of 51 food processors to give me the cost of 51st food processor. And my answer would be, let me plug this into the calculator. So this is 5969.80. And this is 5,900. That would give me $69.80. And let's see if that matches. And yes, it does. So just again, pause for a second. Again, they're not asking me the cost of 51 food processors. They're asking me the cost of the 51st food processor. So that, understanding that is very, very, very important. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. It says, no, I don't have space there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to reduce all of this. Never mind, let me try one more time. I'm gonna resize, I'm gonna make it smaller, I'm gonna move it right here. And now I'm gonna work with option B. For option B, what they say is use the marginal cost. The moment they use the marginal cost, I know I have to find the derivative. So my function c of x, let me erase this one here. So my function c of x was 1900 plus 90x minus 0.2x squared. So when they say marginal, and I'm finding the derivative of a constant is a 0 plus derivative of 90x is 90 minus derivative of x squared. The 0.2 comes down, x squared is 2 times x squared minus 1, which is x. So my marginal cost is 90 minus 0.4x. So once I have the marginal cost, remember this is the unit of the marginal cost are in dollars per processor. So again, I want to make sure you understand this derivative represents the change in the cost of producing one food processor. So this has to be understood. So this is going to give me the cost of the next food processor, the change. Again, when I say the slope is nothing but how the function is changing. Is it increasing or decreasing? So what's happening? So here, the rate of change, so this is going to give me the cost of the next food processor. So if I want to find out the cost of the 51st food processor, then I have to evaluate this at the previous one, because this function will give me the cost of the next. Am I making it clear? This function, this is the rate of change. This is going to give me the cost of the next food processor. So if I have to find the cost of the 52nd, then I'm going to plug in 51. If I have to find the cost of 51, then I'm going to plug in 50. If I have to find the cost of 50, then I'm going to plug in 49, because let me remind you, this c of x is nothing but c of x plus 1 minus c of x with respect to x. So you see that? It's giving me a rate of change of the next food processor. So here, because they're asking me for 51st food processor, all I have to do is simply plug in the number 50 to give me the approximate cost of producing the 51st, not 51 processors, 51st. So that's going to be 90 minus 0.4 times 50, which is 90 minus 20, which is 70, and these are nothing but your dollars. Okay, again, this is very important you understand. This gives me the cost of the next food processor. So if I have to find 50 first, I have to go one step down. If I have to find 50, I have to go one step down. You can pause here to see if you understand, and then make sure you work on a problem and then go further. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at the next problem here. All right, what are they asking me? They said the profit in dollars for sale for X lawnmowers is 60x minus 0.06x squared minus 350. Find the average profit per mower if 20 mowers are produced. All right, very good. Let's start with the first one. When they say average, remember what the average is. The average is P of X over X. So let's just put the line for the average. The average profit is always the average is the number divided by the total number. Okay, very good. So this is nothing but 60x minus 0.06x squared minus 350 divided by x. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plug in This is 60 times 20, because for 20 mowers, minus 0.06 20 squared minus 350 over, oops, that's a 20, over 20. And what do I end up with? I have to plug it in. Which gives me 41.30. So it's very important we understand. So if 20 mowers are produced, then the average profit per mower is going to be $41.30. Okay, that's understood. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next option. In this option, there says in this part B, they say the marginal average, find the marginal average profit at the production level of 20 units. Again, this is not the 21st, 51st. They're just asking me, hey, what's the marginal average profit for 20 units? That's very simple. Let's go ahead. My average profit was P of X over X. We've seen that before. My P of X is, I forgot the equation. It's 60 X minus 0.06 X squared minus 350. Minus or plus, let me make sure. Minus 350. Divided by X. And when I simplify this, I get 60 minus 0.06. X squared over X is X minus 350 over X. This is the average profit. But remember, they asked me for marginal average profit. When they use the word marginal, I know I have to find the derivative. So the derivative of 60 is 0. The derivative of negative 0.06x is negative 0.06. Derivative of x is 1, negative. Derivative of 350 is a constant, it comes down. And derivative of 1 over x is, let me make some space here, is negative 1 over x squared. Now if I combine these, I get negative 0.06. Negative times negative becomes a positive 350 over x squared. And all they're asking me is, they're saying, hey, can you give me the average profit for 20 units? Of course I can. What do? I simply plug in 20 here, and I get negative 0.06 plus 350 over 400, which is 0.815. But I think they're asking us to round off to the nearest cents. So only 2 decimal places, which is 0.82. And let's see if the answer matches. So it's 82 cents. Yes, the marginal average profit at production level of 20 units is 82 cents per mower. So what does that mean? So let's go ahead and take a look. What exactly does this mean? This is a marginal. So like I said, when I use the word marginal, it's a rate of change. So consider this as a slope. If your slope is 0.82, first, that means your slope is positive. That means the profit is increasing, and it's 0.82. That means the rate of change of the profit with respect to the mowers is positive. It's increasing. The average profit increases. That's exactly what it means. So now let's go ahead and see which one does this option satisfy. So here it says at production, let me use my highlighter here. At a production level of 20 mowers, a unit increases in production and will increase the total profit by 0.82 cents per mower. At production level of 20 mowers, the average profit is 0.82 per mower. Even that's not right. So at production level 20 mowers, the average profit is increasing. And at what rate is it increasing? 0.82. So always consider this as a slope. The rate at which the profit is increasing is 0.82. Okay, so now that's so your option here is, let me pick here, your option here is 0.82 because the average profit is increasing, the line's going up, the average profit is increasing. At what rate? At the rate of 0.82. How do I know it's increasing? Because 0.82 is positive, and that's my slope, and that's, derivative is a rate of change, and that's how it's increasing. The change is positive. Okay, now let's go ahead and again, I have to minimize this one. So I'm just going to go ahead, select all of this and minimize it. So I move this to this side. And now let's tackle this last part. Using A and B, okay, they said estimate the average profit per mower if 21 mowers are produced. So now they say, hey, use A. Let's go ahead and check what A is. If 20 mowers are produced, the average profit is 41.30. So let me bring that here. Please, again, pay attention. This is very important. So if I produce 20 mowers, my profit is 41.30. Now they're saying this is option A. In option B, I have a rate of 0.82. The rate at which the profit is increasing is 0.82 per the mower. Very good. Now what they're asking me in C is saying, hey, using these two, using this and this, can you estimate the profit for 21 mowers? Of course I can. One, I know what my profit for 20 mowers is, and I know my profit is increasing per mower. So for 20, it is 41.3. For 21, it is going to be 41.3 times 0.82. If they ask you for 22, it's going to be plus another 0.82. If they ask you for 23, it's going to be plus 0.82. So you get the idea, right? So here they're asking me only for 21 units. So that's going to be 41.30 times plus 0.82, which is 42.12. Okay, again, pause. If you have any questions, go back, review, and let me comment in the comment section below to let me know if you have any questions. Hope this helps.